Hey everyone, thank you for joining me once again for another episode of Unleashed Alchemy. Tamara Tamu here. First, if I sound funny, it's because I'm a little bit hoarse. Okay, I've been talking a lot and I went a little bit crazy on inhaling fragrances. I love perfume. And sometimes when you have to clear your palate, and I wasn't clearing my palate with the coffee beans, so I went a little crazy on fragrances, sniffing, inhaling, you know how we do. And so it started to mess with my allergies a little bit. So I started coughing, blowing my nose, all of that. Too much information that you didn't ask for, but that's what's going on with my voice. But I was not going to let that keep me from talking to you today and bringing you this episode, okay? So, over the next few days, maybe 3 or 4 days, I want to give you a little, you could call it a sneak peek into the live session, the live workshop that I am going to be doing again this month for April inside of the Magic School. Last month for our live session, we talked about the powerful connection between self-gratitude, gratitude just in general, and the powerful connection between gratitude and your wealth, your money. Okay, so for this live session for this month, which will be Friday the 26th, it's the fourth Friday, the 26th, I believe that's the right date, at 7 p.m. Eastern. This live session, we're going to be talking about embracing your role as an energetic pioneer, as the energetic pioneer in your lineage. Now, I know that sounds heavy. It may sound a little scary, and it just may sound like may sound convoluted. But in that live session, we're going deep into your calling and what you have, who you are, have been chosen, or how you have been chosen, what you have been chosen to do, not just in your life, but how your calling positively affects your entire bloodline. And yes, you are that powerful. So we're going deep into that material in the live workshop for this month of April 26th. So I would advise you, if you are wondering, okay, there was all this talk about the eclipse, and you had some people trying to scare everybody's jaws off, okay, over this eclipse. You had some people who were taking it in stride. Some people had a nice, harmonious balance to it. And now, after all of that, you may be wondering, okay, now that the eclipse is over, now what? Well, this now what, the answer to your now what could very well be in the live session in the Magic School for this month. Again, we are talking about your spiritual odyssey, embracing your role as an energetic pioneer, as the energetic pioneer in your lineage. All right, so what I like to do for the next few days on the Unleashed Alchemy YouTube channel is just give you a little bit, a taste of what that means, okay? So let's start by asking this question. All right, I'm going to start by asking you this question. So, do you really want to surrender to your spirit? Do you really want to have a strong spiritual backbone? Do you really want to make spirituality the backbone of your life? Ask yourself that question. Ask yourself that question. Because when you answer yes, what you're doing is you are surrendering. And when you surrender to that, you get a lot of self-realizations. You get a lot of self-realizations. You start to find out or realize why perhaps when you were younger, perhaps you grew up in a decent sized family, and you grew up in love. You grew up perhaps around people that you felt protected by, but yet at the same time, you may have felt a disconnection. You may have realized that you carried some gifts, spiritual gifts. You didn't call them spiritual gifts, but you knew that there was something different about you that you really could not articulate. Perhaps there were aspects about you that as you grew up, you were sent messages from the outside world about those aspects about you, and you were told that they were negative, or perhaps you should simmer down your aspects a little bit. So, for example, perhaps you were opinionated. You had your own mind. You asked questions. And maybe you were always taught, okay, you asked too many questions, just go sit down, just stop talking. And you took that aspect of you that is inquisitive, and you took that to be negative, so you diluted that as you grew up and became an adult. And perhaps you still find yourself diluting that aspect of you, not realizing that that is an aspect of you that is very vital to your spirituality. That's just one example, okay? So, surrendering to spirituality, surrendering to Christ consciousness, surrendering to higher consciousness, surrendering to spiritual elevation, revolution, and transformation. It means self-realization. So all those aspects come back up. And sometimes it can feel like within your body that they are coming back with a vengeance. And it can kind of shake up your nervous system a little bit, where you're not quite sure. You know something is going on the inside, but you're not quite sure what it is. That's what happens. That is what's happening. And can it feel uncomfortable? Yes, because you are getting reacquainted with the you of you, including all of those aspects, not just the aspects that were looked at as nice and cute and quiet and proper. No, the aspects of you that were viewed as loud, too much, hot-headed, stubborn, perhaps mean. All of those aspects together make up you. All of those aspects make up your spirit. All of those aspects make up the magic of you. Okay? So that's what we talk about when we talk about self-realization. Also, when you talk about self-realization, of course, you're getting to know yourself more. You're getting reacquainted with yourself. So spiritual awareness brings self-awareness. So now that you are more aware of yourself, guess what? You become aware of others. You are able to engage in conversation. You can hear what a person is saying, but you can hear beyond what they're saying. Particularly with family, since we're talking about lineage. All right? And this is where this part of spirituality can be triggering, because now we know about ourselves. Now all of these realizations about our lineage, about our family, those patterns, certain behavioral thought, action links and patterns are starting to unfold. So perhaps things that you noticed when you were younger about certain people in your family acting a certain way towards themselves and to each other, now you're noticing that there exists this pathology, this set pattern that people have not been willing to let go, because everyone in the family has gotten used to a certain person acting a certain way or certain people responding to each other a certain way. So you noticed it when you were younger. Now that you're on this spiritual path, now spirit is the backbone of everything that you do. Now that's starting to come back up. And again, it can be triggering because many times those patterns are patterns that we don't want to necessarily admit to because of what we've told ourselves what noticing that pattern means. Just because you're noticing a pattern in your family or you're noticing a pathology does not mean that you have to frown upon your lineage. It does not mean that you have to reject your lineage. It does not mean you have to reject your family. It is for you to observe because you can do something about it. All right. So I'm going to end this episode there. I'm going to give bits and pieces of this live workshop that are all about this, that we will be having, okay, that we will be able to engage in this content with each other inside of the Magic School live session, April 26th, 7 p.m. If you are not already in the school, please get in there so that you can be in the class, the live session for this month, where we're talking about spiritual odyssey, okay? How to handle being the energetic pioneer in your lineage, or I should say of your lineage. All right, so that is it for this episode. Until next time, cheers.